welcome again to our Windy City Limerick. We are here with a wonderful women's masters game for you. We have Masterclass from Limerick, Ireland, or all over Ireland actually, and we have against Seagulls from Germany. I'm Troy Weston here commentating in the booth with my new friend, Hannah Pendlebury. I was so concentrating to be able to say your last name right, and then I went and pronounced your first name wrong.
It's truly rogue, yes, Hannah Pendlebury. But you did an excellent job of the pronunciation, Troy. Like, lots of people don't quite get it, so I admire your dedication to the pronunciation of my surname. And I think Handel kind of like, maybe there's like a slight German vibe to that. I oftentimes get compliments from the German women's teams for pronouncing their names correctly, which is cursing myself, so I'm definitely going to mispronounce several players' names today. But yeah, I'm really excited for this game. An Irish-German matchup. The Irish team with perhaps a little bit less experience across the full roster, but certainly some spicy players who will be having a ball throwing against these classic Irish conditions in the wet and the wind.
And they're off. Seagulls coming down with a zone to start things off. Myrna finding and centering the disc.
Yeah, the number 2 shirt from Masterclass. You're going to see a lot from Fiona Myrna, a very experienced player, a European gold medalist back in 2019 in GER in Hungary. And she's one of the captains of this Masterclass side and a fantastic PT. If you are looking for some tips on how to improve your physicality in terms of your preparation for the sport, recommend following her on Instagram.
Masterclass just working the zone around, really using Myrna right now as a mainstay in their handling offense, as she's getting the disc about every other time.
Absolutely. A talisman of this side for sure. I have so many anecdotal facts, but I'll save them for later on in the game as we see the Seagulls.
And a great grab under pressure there by Melvin, who is leading the scoreboard if I'm not mistaken. And McMorrow in the end zone for the first score from Masterclass with the hold.
And they absolutely are looking to start this one strong. Masterclass have now had 1 win to their record so far in this tournament against PD Extra. On the other side of the field, Seagulls have been having a pretty good time of it so far. They've only had 1 loss so far against Stello, who beat them 13-5 in the earlier stages of this tournament. But we're still in pool play for the women's division. Just 2 pools, A and B, and then they advance through to pre-semis for the top slots, and then just playoffs for the bottom brackets.
Looks like it's going to be Costello for the pull for Masterclass. And we've got a little bit of an upwind, downwind situation, although it could change at any minute. The wind does seem to have a mind of its own here in Limerick.
Absolutely. Commentating the first game this morning, it was just every which direction, just keeping things interesting. As you say, the Irish team are definitely much more used to the high wind. Certainly, myself having played a lot of Irish teams in high wind situations in the UK, not far from here, they really do like putting it up.
And Kraft with the big huck that is brought down by Costello. Just hung it out there, and the wind kind of just lifted it off, came down with it. Ireland now fighting their way, hopefully towards their first break.
And they will be
a huge huck in return. That will be brought down by Pugh. A great read and grab just outside the end zone. Looking for Costello to finish that off, and she does. Masterclass with the first break of the game.
Yeah, that's Claire Pugh there, who got the D down off that loose high disc from Seagulls, just popping it into the end zone. And that is how I say they want to start this one strong, because they need a win here, especially against such a well-decorated thus far team like Seagulls.
Absolutely, and we're going to take another look at that lovely leading flick pass, just very well read. An easy patience for that nice open backhand for the score.
Yeah, Julia Jensch there just caught a little bit out of position in the end zone, and a nice easy score for Masterclass. So perhaps a little bit of unsettlement in the Seagulls camp here.
Yes, I'm not sure they were expecting that right off the gate. Definitely coming out strong from the Irish women.
Well, you wouldn't fault them for being perhaps a little bit overconfident. As we said earlier, the Masterclass team do have some stalwarts to the top of their roster, but they're a bit of a spread of a team. But it's nice to see them coming out and representing their home nation on their home turf. Maybe that's the advantage here.
Soleimani with that pull. And another flick huck coming out of the Germans. Just sails a little bit too far. That was Krebs with that huck.
And Kasten Miller, one of the just huge targets, absolutely eating up the stats board at this tournament so far. She has 13 stats total, 9 assists and 4 goals. So I feel like that's probably an immediate play for the Seagulls. Just get it to Kasten Miller, just in front of the end zone. Maybe, you know, being assertive, not trying to overthrow, and then her just dinking it in.
An overthrow from the Irish, but Naylor comes down with it. Fossum. Just a bit of a missed throw there.
Yeah, you can see the Seagulls really trying to take away the unders with this high wind.
Clubs to pick up. Kasten Miller. Back to Clubs. Fossum doing a good job of shutting down that first up the line cut, but the second one is there, and Seagulls are on the board.
Well, Krebs and Kasten Miller there, just giving and going, playing a little bit of, just a bit of ball on the near sideline. I have a suspicion they might have done that a couple of times before, don't you?
This knowing smile on your face right now, Hannah.
Well, I've not had the pleasure of watching Seagulls yet, so it's really nice to see them in their Masters women format. We are used to seeing the Seagulls on the European Ultimate scene just more generally. So these are going to be a team of women who are really well drilled. They know each other. They have those connections really firmly. Whereas Masterclass were kind of, obviously, as you say, already coming from different parts of Ireland, different clubs, kind of coming together as a unified force. Normally playing against each other, you don't necessarily have that fluidity always. And flying across some players from the UK, big shout out to my former women's captain, Rebecca Lindsay. She told me to tell the stream that we love each other very much. So yes, I've done my job now, Rebecca. You can chill.
Claft with that pull. McKee to pick up.
Oh, cheeky scuba.
Myrna with the scuba over top, knocked away by Kraft. Eckert. A bit of a bobble there by Frankie, managed just to hold on to it. And the disc is just out of reach for Kraft, but no problem for Jensch. She snacks on that, throws it for the end zone, and finds her teammate for the score. Beautiful read and catch by Helen.
Julia Jensch, one absolute picture of a flick. It sat for a really long time and got a bit exciting with the defender right there breathing down the neck. But that just, against this wind, oh, that was delicious.
And now we have a break apiece. Both of them upwind breaks. I feel like this could turn into a game of upwind, downwind if both teams stay strong on defense here.
Absolutely, and that is exactly the response the Seagulls would have wanted. You know, you go down a break, you hop after holding your offense, sorry, a hold from the offense of the other side even, and then to come back and just immediately punch it in. It's getting another look at that absolute sitter of an inside flick. It's just losing my words a little bit, just launch that. Powerful stuff.
Understandably so. I mean, you're also playing at this tournament, right, Hannah?
Well, you talk about upwind, downwind games. Our first game, which was against Spark Mixed, nobody could actually score downwind, which is an interesting idea of, okay, we're all really experienced. We can throw in the wind, easy peasy, but we're just not fast enough to catch it on the downwind because the disc is just taken by the wind.
Oh, wow. That's not something you hear a lot of. Myrna now with the disc for Masterclass. Immediately Melvin for the strike, but she finds McMorrow on the under who couldn't quite hold on to it, and the Seagulls will now get their chance for another break. Kasten Miller with the disc now. Kipri. Back to Kasten Miller. And a foot block from Myrna. Pivotal getting that O disc back for Masterclass.
Just showing the household name that she is, why she is.
Takes a lap of the field and picks up the disc, immediately looking for McMorrow, but a bit too far in this wind, and that is knocked out of the air.
Yeah, the number 43 shirt there of Sarah Melvin trying to get in and make a play, the multiple-timed Eurostar.
Both teams playing in a vertical offense. Gaston Miller with the first undercut. I love this matchup that we're seeing right now. Gaston Miller and Myrna. Great matchup. Huge flick, huck down the field, just out of the reach of Linz there.
And there you're starting to see those throws get punished. You really have to be careful when throwing downwind here. We saw in our first game this morning in the women's division pool play against Le Culotte versus Spanglish. That was a real big problem in the latter stages. People started to get a bit tired as well. But with the constant changing of the wind, that is a big part of the factor here, the mental adjustments to the changing conditions.
Myrna to Melvin. Kwan.
Kwan, another of those gold medalists from 2019. Ireland's first ever gold medal at a European stage.
Melvin again. Bit of a poach in the middle, cutting off those up the lanes, and Melvin could not find an easy pass, and Seagulls will get the disc. That was a really smart poach off in the lane by Gaston Miller there, really cutting off any of those downfield cuts. Krebs sails a bit too far. McMorrow's there waiting for it, and just in case it came her way, didn't need to knock it out of the air though. Masterclass with the disc. McMorrow, good catch under pressure there. Back to Myrna. Big huck, come back, broken huck. Oh, unfortunately Haas couldn't hang on to that. That was a really nice break huck there from Myrna.
Absolutely, such a good opportunity, but Seagulls now with the disc again and the wind at their backs.
Kipri with an around throw to Gaston Miller over the bidding Myrna. Back to Gaston Miller again.
Continuation gets stifled though, good work from the defense.
The sliding catch from Linz, and then puts it back to Krebs. Kwan with the big mark. Krebs having not a lot of options upfield, and there will be another turnover.
Yeah, with a powerful line coming out for the offense for Masterclass. All those players can play deep pretty well too.
McMorrow wide open on that first undercut. Now looking to reset to Kwan. Melvin. McMorrow with the bid, but unfortunately that disc is just too low, and there will be another turn.
Oh, I think I saw a cheeky signal from teammate to teammate for timeout. Yep, there we go. Unsurprisingly, after a messy point, we're going to get a timeout.
And timeout on the field means we will also take a quick break. And we are back from the timeout as the teams fan out back to the sidelines, and the offensive players will take their positions first. Ceb's picking up. Masterclass setting up a little bit of a sandwich D on that vertical stack. Seems to stifle their initial cut, but Katzen another huge chuck, and Myrna is there to cut it off. Ceb's with a good look, but Masterclass getting there first.
Yeah, great read on the play from Myrna. She's going to perhaps overthrow.
Melvin turning and running once she realized, yes, that disc is for me. Kwan now with the disc on the sideline.
Yeah, have to say, Sarah Melvin is one of those players. You can just throw her open. She'll just be there all the time, every day.
McKee to Veriker as the vertical stack moves down the field back to McKee. And a pick was called on the play. Looks like it did not affect, though, so it will stay with McKee. No, it did affect. Pardon me. This comes back to Veriker.
Too hasty, too excited.
Well, if the pick doesn't interfere with play, it usually will not go back to the thrower. And I believe it was a person in the stack that called the pick, so not quite sure why it went back to the thrower, but maybe maybe they just can't make up their mind on the field either.
And that is why we have our wonderfully green-shirted game advisors to assist in clarifying rules discussions and offer an objective opinion.
McMorrow to Kwan. They're on this Seagulls brick mark now, looking for that end zone. Myrna. And the score with finding Veriker in the end zone. Good patience there from Masterclass.
It took a long time, but they got there in the end. Masterclass's offensive hold there. And it did take quite a lot of effort. I have to say, this release from Jen Kwan, I really, for a half a second, thought she'd misreleased it. But I've been looking at it back, it's all fine. But that was definitely a high stall situation. Finally sees a glimpse of Fiona Myrna and is like, yes, you have the Frisbee. But great way to punch it straight in afterwards. Good flow from Masterclass here. And the rain has arrived, as you can probably hear from our field mics.
You mean it's back?
It's arrived in this game. It said, I thought I'd give you guys a bit of a dry spell, but how would you like some water all over your Frisbee? Does that sound like a great idea? I think it does, says the rain cloud. We disagree. Thanks.
Good thing a lot of these players have the greatest bag, which is made for Ultimate players by Ultimate players to keep their gear nice and dry. It even has a nice little seat that you can pull out of it and sit on.
Oh, fantastic. I never knew that. Well, I might have to go and see if I can get myself one of those.
Eckert with the disc now for the Seagulls. Masterclass showing a bit of a zone look themselves now.
It makes sense. When the conditions change up the defense, change the rhythm, and make Seagulls have to use their brains as well as their legs.
And a bit of a bobble there. Wind taking that one back a bit. Masterclass have a chance for another break. O'Mahony finding Lee in the end zone. Masterclass with another break for the Irish.
Yeah, finding Lee there. Another of these gold medalists I keep talking about from 2019. Really interesting tournament, actually, talking about the Germans for a little bit. The German women's representation, there is plenty on the field. We'll get a chance to have a chat about them later individually. But that was a really strange tournament in 2019. If you've not had a chance, Joey, to look at the German women versus the Italian women game from GER, I highly recommend you get yourself a subscription and go check that game out. It was intense. It looked like the Germans were going to be fine, and then the Italians clawed it back for a nail-biting finish. And some might say that the Germans got well, it ruins the outcome of the game. Spoilers, sorry. But yeah, they didn't advance into the top bracket, and the Irish just cleaned up. A lot of the Seagulls have that national experience. I'm sure there were a couple of them that were on that team. But, you know, there's plenty of opportunities to play at a high level, and that's what we're doing right now in Masters.
Costello with the pull. Just about past the half line. Difficult to do in this wind and rain. Nice pop pass over the top. Back to Klebs. Kraft using the width of the field, going for that swing pass to Eckert, but just a bit out of her reach.
We got some good sound effects off mic from our stats man going, woo, at that overthrow. And those are the errors you can ill afford to make in these early stages of the game.
O'Mahony. An overthrow, but Hinwood has a nice read and comes down with that. Followed by a nice around flick, but just falls a bit short of her intended receiver.
And everyone apart from the players on the field have now retreated under the gazebos. We have lots of friends in our commentary booth.
Kraft to Katzenmiller. Eckert back to Katzenmiller. Krebs. Eckert. Krebs again. Really battling through that Masterclass zone. Finds a little hole in the cup.
It'd be nice
to Katzenmiller in the middle.
It would be nice to see them swing it a little bit more, use the width of the field to really move this cup around. They're kind of allowing them to be very clustered and quite static. You need to get them moving a little bit more for those punches through.
Oh, and look at that nice find. Nice find through that cup. Klaft now just outside the end zone. Back to Katzenmiller and Klebs. Katzenmiller looking for an opportunity in the end zone. I don't see any kind of end zone stack or play here from the Seagulls.
It's a controversial option to stay in zone this close to the goal line, but I like it.
And Klebs just punches one through. A really nice grab under pressure there by Cludius.
Yeah, looked almost like she would have been straddling the goal line there, but it's called good. And there we go. It's a hold for the Seagulls.
Which brings our score to 5-3. So what do you think we need to see from the Seagulls now in order to get their breaks back from Masterclass at this point?
They just have to cut down the errors. They're doing, obviously the design of the zone is to make them throw lots and lots of passes. And, you know, these players are the veterans of the sport. Like, you know, you have so much experience across the roster. They have been fairly comfortable in their game so far. As we said, only taking that one loss against Stello, who are looking, frankly, very, very good. Some might say unbeatable. I would disagree with that opinion, but they are very class. So yeah, it's just cutting out those errors, just focusing a little bit more. I mean, they're still very much in this. They're just the one break down. They got the first break back. So we'll see what they can do against the O-line of Masterclass as the rain has taken a brief pause.
A loose zone from Seagulls has Masterclass advance the disc up the field. And Myrna looking for an over the top to that end zone, but Klebs knocks that one out of the air and turns around to go pick it up herself.
Yeah, the 32-year-old there, originally from Freiburg, now living in Hamburg, Franziska Krebs.
A break backhand right off the bat, almost knocked away by Masterclass, but is come down with by Linz. Katzenmiller to Krebs. It's hanging, and Myrna, along with McKee, get underneath it, but there will be a call.
Yeah, unsurprising off a jump ball like that. This is not what I said they needed to do. You know, obviously we had the amazing backup coming in from clubs, but like, you can't be doing that against the wind. You've got to play a little bit flatter. I mean, the first one came off, the second one didn't. the Seagulls have the throwing prowess to put slightly slicker discs. So a little bit more focus. I like the looks, but it's hard to execute in this wind. Because the thing is that, you know, you give the defense a wide open opportunity to make a block, because they don't have to worry about catching it. They just got to make sure you don't.
And looks like the game advisor will be brought in to clarify the rule or to give their opinion on what they might have seen. Of course, the players do not have to go with their opinion or what they saw. The players are free to make their own call on what they think happened on the play.
Indeed. I wonder if we might get another look at it.
I think we missed the replay. We were talking.
So I said again.
Oh, there it is.
So it's the hand slap potential off the second attempt at the catch, which seems like a pretty fair call to me. There was a lot of slappy. But the disc is going to go back off the contest.
Looks like they're just trying to discuss on what stall to come back on and make sure everyone's ready before they tap it in. Clubs now. Caston Miller. Huge flick huck again. This time it will be cleanly knocked away from Veriker.
It's possible the Germans thinking more about the field position and giving themselves some high risk, high reward opportunities in the midsection of this first half, but I mean, it's exciting to watch regardless. Nice swinging coming from the Masterclass side now.
Myrna back with the disc. Sees her player going long, decides to go for a short one again, but Caston Miller is in the way and gets that run through D.
Indeed, the Woodcheekers player. She's brought her biggest fans with her, her mum and her daughters Lara and Hannah, so shout out to when you're watching this back, I'm sure.
A nice toe of the line by Caston Miller again. But a floaty disc will be grabbed out of the air by Kwan. A diving catch. Great effort by O'Meara. McKee. Back to Myrna.
After that absolute hero save, Masterclass now just need to chill it out, be conservative. Kwan looking for Myrna, but what a visionary shot over the top. Can she reel it down? Oh, thinking too much about her body positioning. She needs to attack that disc a bit more aggressively, I think.
That was a visionary shot by Myrna there. And Krebs will now pick up for Seagulls. Sweet little IO break to Caston Miller.
Yeah, really nice big gain of those ones. They just sit and hang in the wind.
Werner back to Caston Miller. Krebs.
Again,
a
that inside.
floaty pass, but it's out to beautiful space, and there's no one there but Klug to run onto it. Unfortunately, could not finish. Another floaty pass into the end zone will be knocked away by Myrna. McGrath and Myrna playing a bit of give and go. And by McGrath, I mean McMorrow, pardon me. That was her maiden name. She's now married. McMorrow is her married name now. And that works all the way down the field until they find a wide open McKee in the end zone.
Yeah, lovely bit of play there for a hold for the O-line of Masterclass. I really enjoyed watching Laura McMorrow's fakes. It was like 1, 2, and then just, it's the same throw each time. So it's interesting that the force didn't quite adjust to that, because it was I'm going to fake the backhand, I'm going to fake and I'm throwing the backhand to Myrna because she's right there. It's almost like she's saying to Myrna, that's where I want you to be, which is traditionally the fake is I don't want you. But sometimes the fake is I would like you to do that thing over there.
How right you are. And it looks like Seagulls are taking a timeout to discuss what may have just happened there. And we're seeing the replay here, that beautiful, just working their way down the field. McKee, nobody on her in the end zone. And we'll take a bit of a break too. And we're back on the pitch. Soleimani with the pull down to the Seagulls. Eckert and Krebs working it up.
How wet is your lens?
Kraft. Back to Eckert. A nice swing pass to get the disc open to Franke.
Yeah, with the conditions having calmed down, I'm not such a fan of this zone look, but we'll see if it pays off.
Well, you never know, it could change at any minute. A nice arcing forehand flick, beautifully read. Kraft with that flick there. Absolutely finds that intended receiver in the end zone for the nice goal.
Yeah, as someone who's a very similar height to Helen Kraft, I really felt like I was in her shoes, standing sort of, we were sort of basically behind her. And I saw that back pocket of the end zone and I was like, yeah, because she's done a little cheeky fake of it before. And then she saw the receiver going. That's just such a textbook play of how to, when the wind drops and the rain stops, absolutely massacre a zone.
And that was Hebelin with the score there. And now I wish on the camera angle we could also see who is in the opposite corner of that end zone, because I feel like that person deserves a bit of credit there, because they were the ones drawing that deep defender over to the close side and this side of the end zone, making it possible for Hebelin to get over to that open side and be ready for that flick.
Absolutely. And I did say we'd mention some medals that have been allocated to the Seagulls side as well. And Kraft is one of those individuals. She was a EBUCC champion back in 2018. And also, we said about the fact that the Seagulls do play together a lot, because they're also a non-Masters club team, just in the senior divisions. And she played in WUCC 2018. So we'll see if she's going to be there this year in Ohio. But of course, that will be happening at the end of next month.
Myrna to pick up. Caston Miller with a smart poach again in the middle, but McMorrow finds her way around it and Myrna puts it out to her, gaining yards. McKee now. Back to Myrna. A swooping pass is knocked out of the air, but Kawan with the second effort there, and that's why you catch your Ds. Myrna with the big bit in the end zone, but it is not completed. Just a bit too far for her.
Yeah, Lady Luck smiling on Masterclass, and then just a bit of an overthrow. Indeed, catch your Ds. Eva Maria Linz there does everything right, apart from the fact that she accidentally macked it straight into the receiver's open arms.
Caston Miller will pick up the disc now. Just over the head of her intended receiver, but never mind, because Welzel was there to pick it up.
It's the advantage of throwing those bigger throws towards the break side, is that you are more likely to have your own players in better position. Nice snag over the far side.
Myrna giving a lot of pressure there. And we have a conservation of greatness with that good catch under pressure, but then unfortunate immediate throw
Oh, I think we can credit the force as well a little bit. Myrna is a task to be reckoned with.
Speak of the devil with the giant flick hawk looking to the end zone, but that is knocked away by Linz again, this time not into the hands of a defending player.
Puts a little bit more power on that Mac that time. It's what you got to do.
And Caston Miller gets under that incredibly difficult disc that is just catching the trailing edge of that.
I don't know if I might pick that up, but when that disc went up, I went, ooh, very quietly. But that's an error for the Seagulls and a short field for Masterclass.
Hosp over the quad. And another arcing floaty pass into the end zone will again be incomplete.
Yeah, after that saucy grab from Kwan, I think she just had a little bit too much momentum when she went to release that high disc. Just a bit too much momentum and pace on it, so it just overshot.
You know, the viewers back at home can't actually see you when you're demonstrating these throws, right?
Oh yeah, for those that are watching the beautiful players in front of us rather than those of us sat in the commentary booth, I am giving all sorts of gesticulation and motion for Troy, but the viewership is saved from seeing my weirdness. But you can hear all about it.
Again, a huge flick huck, and Myrna picks it out of the air easily and puts one right back herself. Caston Miller again boxing out her defender on the other side. That was just a nice pass from Caston Miller to Myrna, and Myrna back to Caston Miller.
Absolutely, Emily Verreker there, the intended target, but things are starting to look a bit messy again. It's happening. We've not had many clean holds apart from, well, I think the last one, our stats man has finally decided he wants to do some turnovers as well.
And that's the break that we needed to get it to Linz, but another lady arcing turn. And Masterclass are back with the disc. Juan now. Myrna fighting for that open side, but Schulenberg will get that D.
Yeah, fantastic run through. You saw the little pause there from Myrna as she thought, was that? Yeah, that was fine. That was fine. I didn't have that. But that's one of the joys of a self-refereed sport. All of the players are the ones that are empowered to make calls here. No officials can overrule or make any kind of calls, no matter what they see.
Linz. And Caston Miller couldn't quite hang on to that wobbly disc as the wind picks up yet again here.
Yeah, I think it might be jacket time soon. I'm currently in a long sleeve, which is nice, but it's really starting to get that wind chill factor going.
You have to take advantage of when you can wear less clothing when you can in this weather. That did not mean to sound.
Oh, no. I believe in Ireland the phrase is not suns out, guns out. It's skies out, thighs out, because it's so rare to get the real sun.
Masterclass coming up with the disc again. Myrna finds McMorrow up the line, but a little out of reach. Will go too far, and the Seagulls get another chance. This is definitely a game with plenty and plenty of turnovers. Thank you, wind.
Windy City, yeah. Omiara on that last play, as we see the timeout called by Seagulls, smart. I think she probably had a window where if she'd noticed it a little bit earlier, she could have made the adjustment, but that is the thing about these conditions. You just have to be gunning for the disc no matter where you are, what you're doing. In the wind, you just have to be constantly fighting for it, because the worst that's going to happen, there might be some friendly fire, but as the players on the field take a break, so shall we. Go grab a snack. We'll be back very soon.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, Ultimate TV, the best in the world.
become a member, and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world and beyond.
And we are back after that second and final timeout of the Seagulls in this first half. Each team gets 2 timeouts per half. So Seagulls are out of them this half. I think Masterclass has yet to call any.
That is correct. And also another fun feature of the tournament rules here is that you are allowed to take timeouts at any point in the game, including once the time cap has been put on at 100 minutes. So these games are to 100 minutes and to a soft cap of 15 points. No, hard cap of 15 points. Sorry, I always get hard and soft confused, which is never a good idea, especially when it comes to food.
I was going to say something else, but I won't go there.
We shan't. That'd be family-friendly broadcast, please, Cherry.
Aston Miller going to be picked off by Myrna, yes, again. Just had good positioning on her defender there. McMorrow on the sideline finds Quan. Another big flick, Huck. Oh, just too much spin on that disc for O'Meara to hold on to.
It's really hard with the diving clap catch, but yeah, that one, she just caught the wrong edge of it and just out the hands.
Krug now. Oh, and an unfortunate turnover for the Seagulls right outside their end zone. Masterclass have 1 yard to go to just punch this in.
Yeah, that was a costly one. They're going to watch this one back with gritted teeth, I think.
Myrna taking her time for that pickup, letting her team set up. McMorrow, easy cut to the open side, flips it into the end zone for a hold for Masterclass.
I love that early cut. The turnover isn't a stoppage of play, so you can move whenever you want to. Great heads up. I'm often that person on the sideline. I don't know if it's about you, Troy, but there's always like counting down for the stack when the disc is going to come in. As we're going to get another look at that lovely defensive reception for Fiona Mona. She's been doing a lot of sitting at the back, biding her time and just stifling the deep game of the Seagulls, which I like. I like that a lot because they're clearly quite favouring those big hucks. That's what they want to do here. And against the wind, it's a hard ask. It's always going to sit, especially to this upwind side. So the wind is going from right to left as you see it on your screen. But yeah, just playing a little bit of a collector at the back. Oh, I found another disc. Another one. She has an array. She's like the Little Mermaid, but with frisbees.
Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Costello now with a pull for Masterclass.
You need to sing it next time, Troy. Definitely. We might treat you at some point this week to a bit of commentary a cappella. Not on the stream. You'll have to check out our Instagram presence. But we might do a little bit of that. So do follow us. We're here all week bringing you wall-to-wall coverage on 2 fields. You lucky, lucky people. Get yourself multiple devices. Get lots of snacks. Park yourself on your sofa. Tell work you're not going to be in. And join us all week.
And don't forget, it's completely and 100% free.
Gratuit. What more could you want? Free Ultimate. For forever. Well, for as long as YouTube service lasts, which is basically forever, right?
Eckert to Kraft. Another floaty one over the top of the zone. A nice read by O'Mahony coming down with it. Back to Pugh. And it looked like Eckert just had a bit of a better position there, but there will be a foul called on that catch. Costello, the intended receiver for Masterclass. We'll have another look at that here.
Yeah, perhaps claiming a little bit of verticality there, saying, pointing at the shoulder, saying she's trying to jump up and get her own space. And over the top comes the 21 of Judith Eckert. The 2 players will have a chance to chat it through. Certainly a nice aggressive take there. I think it's difficult. It's always hard to go up with that left arm and get the block when your player is on that side of you. I wouldn't be unhappy if this one comes back.
Which it looks like it does. Pugh back with the disc for Masterclass. And the stall count coming in at 1.
Fantastic.
D by Hedlund there. Seagulls just outside the end zone now, looking to put it in for the hold. Kraft. Masterclass again holding that zone outside of the end zone, making it very difficult for the Seagulls to set up any kind of end zone play.
Although you hear the call for match, I think, on the sideline now. Potentially. Does look to be a little bit strict. Oh no,
Franca to Kraft. Tack. Back to Franca, who seems to be getting it every other time. And an overarching throw. This will be brought down by the Seagulls for an excellent read by Jensch in the end zone. Another hold from the Seagulls.
And another goal for Helen Kraft on the far side of the field with the flick. Although, actually, hold on, I'm trying to think, was it a flick last time? Yes, it was a flick last time as well. That sort of soft side is a difficult throw to make, but she's now shown twice, almost, well, not in a row, because it wasn't exactly the point afterwards, but shown twice that she really has that in her toolbox easily, as we get another look at that block from Inka Hebel. But nicely spread across the board in terms of the stats in this game thus far. Not the easiest disc to read there for Julia Jensch, but she does it pretty calmly. Jensch at the moment rocking around the sidelines with her young pup. She's got a little dog with her. There's lots of doggo action. Dogs are allowed at the field complex here in Limerick, which is fantastic news for pretty much everybody, apart from if you're allergic. I appreciate you might not want the doggos to come to you, but he's bounding around and enjoying the action here, as are we all, as the sun now graces us with its appearance.
Seagulls zone making it difficult for Myrna to find that open player, but she finds Kwan. But Seagulls keep pushing them back to Myrna. I have a feeling we're going to see one of those high overarching flicks yet again from one of these two players. Seems to be the way that both teams are breaking each other's zones right now. Back to Kwan. A nice find in the hole from McMorrow. Kwan and Hosp doing a bit of a give-go. Back to Myrna.
Yeah, I'm really liking the Seagull zone. It is doing a great job of containment. The handlers are very close to each other. Occasionally it punches through like that, but because the Deeps are doing an excellent job, there's not really any continuation. It's just making them throw so many more passes, and they put the expansive shot to the end zone.
McMorrow, will she get this? Big bid from McMorrow and a great grab in the end zone. Awesome catch by Masterclass. Absolutely phenomenal break in that zone. Having another look at that. Absolutely fantastic layout.
Yep. After I said they were containing them so well, they find the shot.
Curse of the commentator.
Well, to be fair, let's be honest. If she hadn't laid that, it wouldn't have been a score. And if it had been not as inch perfect as it was, it also wouldn't have worked. So a high risk option, but definitely high reward. And that is 7-5 to Masterclass. They are large and in charge of this game. One break ahead after starting on offense. And if their D-line can come out and take this one, they're putting themselves in a commanding position going into the second half.
Both of these teams we're seeing have a very similar playing style. Vertical set on offense in a match D, and a very similar zone, and similar tactics to break that zone with those high overarching throws to the far corners. Big huck here from Eckert, and a great grab from Reiger downfield.
Oh, what a heartbreaking error for Seagulls there. The first time we've seen the deep defender, Aisling Naylor for Masterclass, not quite able to make the catch. Definitely had excellent position, but just unfortunate. But Lady Luck's not smiling on the Seagulls either, and a missed easy catch in the end zone.
If nothing else, the Seagulls now have position on the field. Really going to force Masterclass to work it up.
And this is the slightly, less power line than we've seen for Masterclass. These are the players we've not seen on the field quite as much as their big name players, but that is not a surprise.
Kraft now with the disc back for Seagulls, and a huge backhand huck. Again, just out of the reach of Reiger.
There was an attempt.
Fossum now picking up for Masterclass. Ooh, looks like she almost didn't get that one, but manages to hang on just by a hair.
You do have to put a lot of spin on the disc against the wind.
And that is what we want to see, the Seagulls want to see, as a turnover right at this end zone line, and that's why they do that huck and put that tight D on right there.
Yeah, abusing the poach from Lindsay.
And that was just snacked on. Really nice read by Fossum getting that D.
Ooh, a cheeky hammer fake. Not sure I'd personally choose to throw that against this wind, but if you've got it, why not?
Ryan trying to find a hole in the cup, but a diving D. Excellent heads up D there.
That's Judith Eckert there with the block in the center of the field, I think. But hey, it was great swinging up until that. Really lovely movement from Masterclass across the field. Just a little bit too hasty trying to penetrate the zone.
Reiger on the sideline. And not quite enough float on that disc over to Eckert. And so Masterclass will have potentially another shot at that disc, but there does look like there is a foul of something happening on the other side of the pitch. And we actually can see one of the tournament directors in the background. There's Liam. Hello, Liam.
Oh.
And he puts his hood up as if he heard me.
Sneaky Liam Grant. I wonder if we might at some point get a little close-up of Mr. Liam Grant. He was looking very dashing on the opening ceremony. I don't think I've ever seen Liam in a full suit. It almost looked a little bit like, is that your dad's son? But he was looking fresh and has done a fantastic job. Thank you so much to all of the tournament organising committee, all of the volunteers, our scorekeepers, the people keeping the fields fresh, everybody and anybody involved in bringing this all together for the World Masters and Ultimate Club Championships here in currently sunny Limerick. Dare I say it?
You did.
I did dare.
So I think there was a foul on the throw, and that will go back to Reiger. Contested foul. And Kraft over to Cludius. A huge swing pass and a great grab there from Steer.
Perhaps a little bit too much thinking about the catch there from Tuck.
Fossum. Good communication. I could hear them from here yelling, I've got it, I've got it. That was Ryan. Lindsay. Give it to Hinwood and Fossum again. Nice little break there. Great movement from Masterclass. A little bit more patient this time through that Seagull zone. Ryan with the disc.
Oh, I would have liked to see that swing come across, actually. The handlers are very close to each other. So the Seagulls are starting to clamp down now as we get towards the end zone.
Naylor with the disc just outside the end zone now. Knocking on the door. And a little give-go with Fossum and Naylor, and that will be another score for Masterclass, and I think that was a break.
And they take half!
And
What a
they take
result!
off.
What a result! I mean, having come in, not having yet had a win until, I think actually until this morning maybe, but having only the one win against PD Extra, and now coming up against Seagulls, who are looking pretty flipping good, sitting pretty, having only had the one loss to Stello. My God, I think Masterclass might be playing a little bit tactically. They might have shortened their lines at the beginning of the game to give themselves that nudge in front. They did come out strong, hold and a break to start us off. But my oh my.
I think we should go find out what they had for breakfast.
Whatever it is, it's definitely the breakfast of champions. Plus maybe a bit of carb loading last night, do we think? A little bit. That's what you got to do. It's all about maintenance here at this week-long tournament.
And with that in mind, we will take a bit of a break for half, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. So get a snack and come right back.
The ultimate things in life are free, and we're keeping it that way. Subscribe to keep up with the latest games, tournaments, and community content. Share it with your team and friends, and drop a like to help spread Ultimate to more people. Spread the word, spread the love. Ultimate TV.
We are back for the second half of this epic game of Masterclass versus Seagulls, Ireland versus Germany. And we are seeing Masterclass come out on the top of the first half with a couple of breaks on the Seagulls. What do you think this next half is going to bring us, Hannah?
Well, I happen to have had the opportunity in the half-time to go and speak to both teams, which I like. I like when players allow us to do that and have a little chat to them. The thing is, the defense from Masterclass is playing really smart right now. They are forcing them to come under, taking it away in the short field, and then putting someone deep who's really experienced and knows how to play in the wind, because this is their home place. They play in the wind all the time. This is where they live. It's their thing. And they've been doing a really good job of stifling the deep game from Seagulls, because that is what they're looking for, are those big shots that are really big gainers, lots of momentum. And it just means that every couple of throws, there's something a little bit looser from Seagulls. So Seagulls' game plan is just to continue doing what they like to do, use their connections, play together well, but just clean it up a little bit, you know, just polish off those edges. So hopefully we can see that happen. Coming out on offense, as they should be off the back of the toss. Masterclass are just the 2 breaks ahead, even the score is 8-5 at the moment. So out of bounds, short field pull is going to be brought in by Helen Kraft.
So when the disc sails out of bounds on a pull, you can either bring it to the center of the field at the brick mark or wear it across the line. And usually if it's much further upfield, which it was in this case, chose to bring it in, wear it across the line. And a nice picked off D, just beautifully read by Costello. And a huge hug to return it down the field. Oh, what a grab under pressure. Naylor with the huge grab.
And that is absolutely pivotal for Masterclass. Having played a little bit better in the first half to come out and get a break straight out of the blocks. And now the rain has arrived again. It's come back, hello friend, to just put a little bit more pressure on Seagulls. This is starting to be the point where the German women really need to pull it out of the bag. It's almost like Aideen Costello was just invisible in the center of the field there. The handler did not see her whatsoever. And then the shot straight off the bat. We said this is where the Irish women live, literally as well as figuratively, in the wind and the rain. I was chatting with a friend who's not at this tournament. He decided not to come and sideline. And he said he heard that Ireland gets about 500 days of rain a year, which if you do the maths, doesn't quite figure out, but I think that's probably an accurate sentiment for the conditions we've seen in Limerick so far.
And that was O'Mahony with that huge put down to the end zone and the beautiful box out by Naylor, giving Masterclass another break.
Can they go for the double score? We'll have to find out. They have 5 D lines to Masterclass versus the 1 O line. And everyone is on 3 of the D line iteration, should we say.
Seagulls centering the pass to Krebs. Another unfortunate turn.
This is just Seagulls a little bit mentally falling apart. Can they get some needle and thread and sew themselves back together? Because that's what they really need to do right now.
Rain and wind picking up. Naylor again with the disc in the middle of the field for Masterclass. O'Mahony slips through the fingers of Costello. She chases after it, trying not to let the Seagulls gain too many yards on that rolling disc.
I like the mini bid there to stop the roll. We always like to see that kind of commitment to the defense.
Katzenmiller over to Krebs. Out of the jumping Katzenmiller, but it looks like she will call a bit of a foul on that one.
And I didn't quite catch that one because it occurred behind the head of the lovely handsome Rob, doing an absolute stalwart performance on Cam 2 for us here on this broadcast.
It looks like she did withdraw the call though, and so Masterclass will get the disc back.
this hand signal for violation. Although open palms is not the correct way to signal violation. You should use closed fists for violation calls, specifically for the hand signal. That it makes it clear and makes it less likely to be confused for a scoring signal, which is obviously ever so slightly different because you bring your, so if you think of the pick call, which has the arms at 90-degree angles, very similar for a score, but with open palms. Violation signal should always be arms straight up with clenched fists.
And we've got another turn on the field now. Caston Miller picking up again for the Seagulls. Masterclass just putting on a great clamp down defense. No reset option there. And here's the huge huck again. But it will be knocked out of the air. Not surprising we're seeing some foul calls on these jump balls because it is so easy to just get in each other's space. But the turn will stand. Caston Miller with a huge backhand to the end zone. Will she come down with it? Where was the bid on that one by Schulenberg? Just out of her reach. Could have been out the back. Oh no, it's way out the back anyway.
I was going to say,
never mind.
But I think it was one of those moments where she had a look at it. She thought, I could make a bid here, then realised quite how close she was to the line. A difficult one to reel in. Definitely it's the sort of bold play that the Seagulls need. If that had come off, can you imagine? Against the rain and the sideways wind that's now really making its presence known, that would have been huge for ramping Seagulls up.
A flick huck out of the gate. Prendeville brings that down. O'Mahony. Costello. Back to Prendeville, but it is knocked away. Very well read by Caston Miller there. And Krebs will pick it up for the Seagulls.
Yeah, that was a very seasoned play. She knew that they were trying to jam it down the sideline and got there well ahead.
Caston Miller finds a break around to Linz. Out of the tipping fingers of Caston Miller, but into the hands of Kipri.
Yeah, both of them making the same cut, but with these conditions you need to. Oh my goodness! Nearly a little game of pinball for one in the center of the field. Caston Miller with such determination.
O'Mahony with the big huck again, but misread a bit there by Naylor.
Yeah, looking for the easy, cheeky score to put Masterclass at double the points. If we get another lick, perhaps, after the double cut. But yeah, really backing each other up. And the bobble. How fun was that to watch?
Oh, Naylor nearly getting that back for her team, but Caston Miller says, no, I've got this. No problem at all. And now we've got the huge huck, but it is knocked down.
I wouldn't be surprised if that caught a little bit the defender on the way through. A real sort of desperation huck. Not the nicest release, but a difficult one to do against the mark, that inside backhand without smashing them in the face. And that, of course, would not be allowed, being a non-contact sport and all.
Not surprising we see another big huck from Mahoney.
Again, a bit of a frustrating when you can see the way her, if you watch that one back, the way her weight was really back when she tried to release that flick. It's always going to end up in the air and sitting and coming down like a blade. But lots of errors across the board for both teams here. Turnover City.
Mix of rain and wind, sun coming and going, certainly not helping, adjusting into these playing conditions. And yet another error.
It's just the inner clench every time you see the unforced error. It's just, we hate to see it.
O'Mahony with another big flick huck. Wow, this time brought down, absolutely beautiful grab.
And there we go. They've doubled the scoreline, 10-5 to Masterclass. You could see on that release on that flick, Huck, if we get to watch that one back, much better core, much less of a sit back, and it was much better in terms of the way it flew and just sat and hung. A big pack underneath it, but I think a bit of a height mismatch and goal for Masterclass.
Oh, and we are going to get another look at that.
Yeah, much more stable release and a good attack.
O'Meara comes down with that beautiful run-through catch.
Yeah, the young woman from Tipperary just qualified into the Masters division by turning 30. She's a tall lady. She's about my height, 176 centimeters. She's currently living in Dublin as a pediatric dietitian.
Cool.
So I'm sure she's giving her teammates lots of tips on how to fuel oneself during these week-long tournaments, sorry, not a weekend. Even though, funnily enough, my partner, when I was chatting to them on Sunday, Choey, thought that it was a weekend tournament.
Ooh.
Despite the fact that my flight is booked back for next Sunday, thought that I would only be away for a weekend rather than a full 9 days. It's unusual, but we love to be here and immerse ourselves in the full tournament experience.
Ireland truly is a lovely country.
I have to say, I've been here a lot in March. Ironically, the weather is much nicer in March in my personal experience.
Seagulls working the disc up through Masterclass zone again. The wind has died down a little bit, so we could see some of these big throws come to a better completion or better outcome. Craft now. Oh, and a little bit of a bobble there. The rain and wind dying down a bit is not helping. The disc is probably still quite wet.
And a one-shot score, can it be? Yes, it is!
Mick Morrow in the end zone, a well-timed shot by Leahy.
And you hate to see it. You really hate to see it. 4 breaks in a row for Masterclass. But it seems to all be coming off of just Seagulls losing themselves. That was, I mean, obviously the disc is slippery. These are not easy conditions. Underfoot is soggy as it gets. I'm currently rocking around in Chelsea boot wellies, which is the life choice of champions at every Ultimate tournament ever.
And for you North Americans out there, she's talking about gum boots or rain boots.
That is also what they call them down under. I learned from the lovely Hilary Hilms. Shout out to you, Hills, if you're listening. But I actually saw someone this morning, Joey, who was wearing plastic bags as socks over their socks inside their shoes. That is the level of soggy with which we're dealing with right now. And so it's...
Oh, look, we've got a picture of your boots on the camera there.
Oh, yeah. Look at them. So
Thanks,
these
Rob.
These are my new ones. I have several pairs. I'm really sad. The ones I had before had little daisies on them, but then I realised that I'd split them a little bit on the back because I wear them, as I say, all the time. They're fantastic. Sliders are also an excellent choice, but it's the whole idea of when you take off your cleats, what you want to do is allow your feet to breathe and allow your circulation to go in. So actually, obviously you want to have firmness, so the size, when you're looking for boots, you want them to be closely fit to your feet so that you don't slide around in them and your cleats work properly. But also you don't want to have the risk of cutting off the circulation to your feet for fairly obvious reasons of blood flow is very, very good for them. Yeah, giving them a chance to sort of, have a little bit of loosey-goosey time, relax, stretch out. I highly recommend gum boots or wellies.
Well, maybe next time we have a tournament in Ireland, we should look for a sponsor in that department as well.
I mean, I would be well up for that. It's a pretty good game, but focusing on the field again, as we see an array of boots. Actually, there's some good options out there. Myrna's sporting some nice pale blue ones. As we see the talisman of this Masterclass side with the pull.
Manages to get it past half in this upwind.
Not an easy feat.
Certainly not. Looks like we're going for more of a match D from Masterclass, starting with a sandwich on that vertical stack to cut off that first pass, but it finds its way to Linz's arms. Castamiller for a wide open Klug just outside the end zone. Back to Castamiller. And Krebs using the full width of the pitch.
This is good spacing from the handler set using the width.
Oh, I thought that was going to be it. A really nice little give-go from Krebs and Castamiller there, but just too far. And Masterclass again with another chance for another break.
And the woman who will look to get them in action is indeed Fiona Myrna, who's, speaking about doggo game, has a lovely corgi.
Oh, bless. Very nice second effort grab from Veriker on that overthrow to keep the disc alive for Masterclass. Myrna with the huck. Oh, and Pugh comes down with it on that second effort again. Sitting Masterclass on the doorstep for another break. And Kwan just misses that disc.
That was such an unpleasant way to end what was quite a nice bit of offense. The speed and timing with which the huck was released from Myrna was fantastic. She just saw the opportunity, and Pugh nearly didn't catch it. Got the adjustment, and then just a bit of a lack of focus perhaps from Jen Kwan, and an uncommon error.
Krebs now with the disc for Seagulls, centering it. Kipri. Castamiller. Huge flick huck again, looking for her receiver downfield, but Myrna just turns on the wheels and manages to box her out.
She made the receiver basically give up. Her closing speed is just like, she's already going really fast, and then she just like, it's like a little injection of nitrous oxide, just vroom.
Looks like there was maybe a call on the play.
Yeah, an injury, I think.
Oh, an injury, yes. And Schulenberg will take the field. Masterclass do have an option to take a sub there as well, just to kind of even things out, make it fair. If Seagulls are getting fresh legs, Masterclass can too. They chose not to, though. McMorrow with the disc now. Veriker. Myrna again with the big huck. This one's hanging.
Ooh,
And it was
almost everybody on the field underneath that. And it's an interesting choice. It's definitely not what you want to see.
Linz. Back to Castamiller. Kipri. Castamiller again, a stalwart of the Seagulls offense. Welzel. Castamiller with a huge break around, finds Linz in the end zone for a one-legged grab just into that breadbasket. And a very important hold for the Seagulls.
Absolutely, they needed to apply something to stem the bleeding, what some might call it hemorrhaging, if you will, with Seagulls going down 4 breaks on the trot, already 1 down from the first half. It's nice to see them able to punch one in and respond. So, a big job. It's not an insurmountable deficit. There is a lot of talent out here on the field. If you're watching this live and you want to get a shout out, we do have a lot of you with us this fine afternoon here in Sunny Limerick. Bit of a chat from Kieran Costello in favour of Masterclass. I think there's probably a bit more Irish love in the stream right now. So let's hear from you. If you're supporting Seagulls and you want them to climb the mountain, please do get involved.
It's a first D point from the Seagulls this halftime.
Speaking of comments in the chat, we might yet, after hours, behind the scenes footage, get a rendition of the Rocky Road to Dublin from the lovely Troe.
That's Laura McMorrow, number 25 in Masterclass. That's her husband there in the chat that said that they may indeed be good friends of mine. They moved over to Canada for 6 years before returning to Limerick, their home city. So it's been really nice to catch up with them. Myrna now with the disc, as Masterclass punch it up the field quickly and efficiently. A beautiful backhand to space, but just a bit too far for McMorrow. I liked the vision on that throw, though.
Yeah, you can see the wind caressing the jerseys, though. It's that, you know, if you put it up, it's going to get caught by the breeze and push that little bit extra, a little something, something, just on the side of these throws.
Helen Kraft bringing up the disc for the Seagulls now. Oh, that's a dangerous one. Nearly a Callahan.
Well, talking about getting the Seagulls fired up.
And Masterclass will have the chance to put in this efficient O point. Not quite a clean O point, but certainly quick. And Myrna to McMorrow, a very common combination we have seen on this pitch today.
Absolutely. As you say, a lot cleaner, a lot smoother. If we cast our minds back to the second point of this half, if the stats board has it correct, there were 7 turnovers for Masterclass and 8 for Seagulls. So this one's really a bit of a meat grinder at this stage. And obviously, as you say, you need to put a little bit more, well, a lot more pressure on Masterclass if you're going to stem the flow. Because it's just 3 points shy of their second win here at this tournament. And taking a scout from Seagulls, who have been pretty dominant thus far, is going to be a big, big deal.
Seagulls really getting the D'ing themselves, basically, is kind of what we say, is their throws are not as accurate as we've seen in previous games. Their catches aren't as clean or crisp, and they're really, seems like they might be getting their heads at this point. Will they be able to bring it back from this 6-point deficit?
Stranger things have happened on an ultimate field. I mean, we have seen Masterclass go on a 4-point run. So is 6 out of the question for Seagulls? Possibly. 6 on the trot, but couple here, couple there. There's still time, but the door is starting to close. It's like the crystal maze when you're trying to get out, but you have to cut over a fiery pit of lava. But in this case, the lava is just making the catch, and that one, unfortunately, doesn't work out for Krebs.
And just as I was talking about, another unforced error from the Seagulls, but there was a call on the play. I'm not sure. It looks like it's a pick, but it didn't interfere with the throw or the intended receiver, so I'm not sure if that's going to do much. And that is the hand signal for a turnover, the hand going up and down, so they did come to the conclusion it did not interfere with the throw, and the turnover will stand. Oh, Mahoney, are we going to see another one of her big flick break hucks? Nearly, but Krebs gets underneath that one, knocks it away.
Yeah, certainly big. Wasn't a huck.
Wells now. Krebs in the middle. And a diving catch from Caston Miller will keep the disc alive for the Seagulls. Klug. And an unfortunate drop from Linz. Another unforced error from the Seagulls.
He's bonkers. They're making huge plays like that, and then just the focus is not quite there on the small stuff. Get the small stuff right, and the big stuff takes care of itself. Sorry, I'm frustrated, you can tell. I want to see them both play at the best they can. At the moment, Seagulls are not playing their best. If they can pull it out the bag, this could become very, very exciting very quickly. But at the moment, Masterclass are just outclassing.
Yeah, it's certainly something you don't want to see. You never want to see a team not playing up to their potential and what you usually see them playing at. I mean, Masterclass is doing a great job at capitalizing on these unforced errors. There was another turn. O'Mahony going for her big flick huck again, just caught the wind at the wrong edge, and so Caston Miller has the disc on the sideline now. Going for the huge huck herself, sailing too far for Linz.
Yeah, the execution just not quite there. We've had some asks in the chat. Is Sarah Smelvo, is she okay? She is currently covered in layers on the far sideline, sorry, near sideline to us. She has got her cleats still on, but I feel at the moment possibly they might have parked Sarah Melvin with a 6-point lead.
You might be a good chat. She's definitely had a lot of stats on the board, so with a 6-point lead, not a bad idea.
Oh yeah, you gotta play it tactically. If they, I feel like if they don't bring it back, she might stay off the field. But at the moment, her teammates are giving us a fantastic display of their skills. That might be a strip call right here.
No call there.
Legit. I guess she had released the disc already, but just got the contact afterwards.
Yeah, I think it was just she was meant to be a fake and accidentally released it after a fantastic diving grab. Klug with the rolling grab. A pick was called. Disc will go back. Did possibly interfere. I think actually one of the Masterclass players is saying that the disc Klug caught may have been down instead of a rolling catch.
Oh, either way, it's going back. It's getting back underway hopefully soon. So I don't know about you, Trey, but I'm starting to get a little bit chilly in all this wind.
I was chilly days ago.
Chilled to the bone.
Just out of the reach, another unfortunate turn from the Seagulls.
I feel like an extra pass would have been good because they're overthrowing that near side of the end zone quite a lot on their flicks. Just one more notch, and then the score. It could all be very different, but it's easy for me to say I'm not out there on the field.
Masterclass coming down with that one again. Costello. And another pick. Coming up on 10 minutes left of game time. It's possible we won't make it quite to 15. Fossum. Picked off by Linz. Caston Miller picking up. Finding a wide open Klug downfield. Back to Caston Miller. Big swing, and again, just missed pass again. That you're right, that flick side just overthrowing a little bit, that wind just pushing it too far. So hard to catch, so hard to read.
It's just one more pass, a little bit less adventurous. Just have the next one, be a proper in-cut. The fade is real hard in this wind. But they're doing a much better job now, Seagulls, of having someone sitting deep. Currently, it's largely Caston Miller, who's pretty good at that job. But there is going to be a call on the play, perhaps a foul call on that throw, because it did sit and hang, perhaps in not the prettiest fashion.
I have a feeling that was O'Mahony on that throw. Can't quite see. She's standing behind some other players.
Yeah, it is indeed. Rosemary O'Mahony. I think she's a Cork girl, if I remember correctly. Oh, yes. I've played against her before. She has an absolute cannon of an arm and is a wonderful human being. She's a teacher, currently living in Cork. And she's my, well, she's probably, I think she's turning 31 this year, but she's a wee gal, only 5'4".
Pobble on the grab, though, but O'Meara hangs on. Big lunge out to Costello. Schulenberg doing a good job on that mark on Costello, blocking that downfield throw. So it takes a dump to reset to get it downfield to O'Meara, and then a bobble, unfortunately, by Naylor.
I'm a really big fan, actually, of how the Seagulls' defensive marks are now coming back. As you say, they're really trying to spoil these hucks.
That's an unfortunate place for a turnover for the Seagulls there. Masterclass can capitalize on this. O'Mahony to pick up. Looking for Costello. Finds her. Excellent read. Just outside the end zone. Masterclass being very patient with this disc, looking for a clean opportunity. Can't find one. Looks for that overarching pass, and Caston Miller easily picks it out of the air. Wellesley now bringing it back down the field for the Seagulls. Krebs, Caston Miller. Big put up there. Can she chase it down? Not quite. Again, same area of the field we're seeing a lot of turnovers in. You can really tell which way the wind is blowing just by that fact alone.
Yeah, I have to say, I feel quite strongly a sense of empathy for the legs of the players on the Seagulls team, because at the moment they are kind of like putting out their powerhouses as you need to when you are 6 points down in a game. But everyone's looking a little bit tired, if we can say that. But there is a miscue from Masterclass and a golden opportunity here for Seagulls to keep the dream alive.
And of course, it is going to be Caston Miller to pick up the disc just outside the end zone. Masterclass with a bit of a zone, but it works, and another unforced error from the Seagulls will give Masterclass another chance to bring it down the field.
I mean, to be fair, like when you're trying to catch whilst also sort of semi-falling over and trying to be in bounds, perhaps, it's a hard ask. It was a low throw, but you would think on a good day, on most days, Seagulls would have that in the breadbasket.
Masterclass working it up the field. Mahoney with the big put up to Naylor. Fossum. O'Mahony. Looking for Leahy outside the end zone. Bit of a collision. So many people trying to get under that disc.
Looked like a bit of Seagull sandwich. Two Masterclass players, but there's going to be no call on the play, I don't think. But it's the hand signals. Yep. Retractions all round. Bit of a spicy biscuit from O'Mahony.
That's a really nice thing about Ultimate, is that you can make that foul call in the heat of the moment, and then after your cooler heads prevail and you think about it for a sec, you say, actually, nah, I didn't have a chance on that. I'm going to retract my foul call. And that's a really nice thing about Spirit of the Game.
Absolutely. And actually, that's oftentimes it's nice to be able to have that stoppage, give yourself that time, as you say, to think about it. Think about what happened and compose yourself. But I tell you what, Seagulls are looking like they are lacking in composure a little bit right now. It's another turnover.
Emotions must be high on both ends. Seagulls frantically trying to stop the bleeding. Masterclass excited by this lead. Keep getting both turnovers in both directions. and the point continues.
The beat does go on. I feel like maybe Seagulls could go for one of those, just get themselves some yardage, giving themselves a bit more breathing room against the Masterclass team. But really, when the high discs are going up, it's the purple shirts that are under them.
I like the look, but with this wind, it's just so difficult to get that correct angle on the disc.
It's a slim channel. We know that the disc is being pushed because every time that the Seagulls have been trying to throw those really lovely, and they have the separation, it's the frustrating thing. The players are doing the right things, they're getting free, they're getting to that side, and it's just the wind is just adding a touch too much on those sort of flick, sort of around throws. But throwing that same sort of like high release with the wind behind you, right on the sideline, you cut it also right on the sideline. It would have been really nice to see it go fake it, completely sell the defender, and then look for the around, especially because at the moment, Seagulls need to conserve a bit more. Or just do something crazy and do something great that gets everyone fired up, either or.
Lynn's coming down with that one for the Seagulls after another floaty huck.
Just sails straight past the hands again. It's a little bit like they're just trying to pass it too far. We know that they can walk it in because when Masterclass were playing zone, they walked it in.
Prendeville. A lovely run through D by Krebs. Good heads up there.
Yeah, the little look from O'Mahony of like that's fair. That happened. That was on me.
Centering the disc to Krebs. And a nice break swing to Welzel.
Now, are we going to see the flick to the doom corner again? Or is it going to work out?
Well, they took your advice and went for the shorter route. One pass, then one more pass. Much better idea than that arcing flick that we've seen not work out in this win at all. Perhaps they were listening to you, Hannah, because that worked out nicely. And Masterclass finally score in this slog of a point.
No one should ever listen to me. I talk rubbish all the time. No, it was lovely to see them finally able to punch that one in on what I was lovingly referring to as the doom corner of the end zone. Only for Seagulls, Masterclass haven't seemed to have had the same issues with the wind, but as we say, they have the home field advantage. These are the conditions, the Irish summer, that they constantly play in. So, yeah, I mean, as I say, the likes of O'Mahony on the disc, Mariner on the disc. Well, I mean, there are so many intensely talented throwers coming out of the Irish women's team at the moment. It's a sight to be beheld. My particular favourite is watching them play zone and then play against zone, and even sometimes not zone, and just throw overheads, scubas and hammers. Although there haven't been many of those in this game, the wind is pretty feisty. But if you're enjoying this match, please let us know in the comments. We're getting lots of love for you, Troy.
Oh, well, that's nice. Thanks, everyone. Myrna to pick up. The scuba over top. Oh, just bounces out of the hands of Hosp.
I said there hadn't been any because of the wind, but that was picture perfect. Just a shame on the reception. Clearly the right option, just a bit tricky.
A lovely grab, just out of bounds, unfortunately for the Seagulls, so Masterclass will get this disc back. McKee. Back to Myrna. Kwan. Pugh now with the disc on the sideline, and a nice catch under the pressure by Veriker.
Yeah, I like the change to the zone look from the Seagulls D-line. We've not seen much of them for a couple of points, but it's good to have them back on the field. And there comes a bit of a miscue from Masterclass and an opportunity to do a little bit of fight back.
Yeah, it looked like Pugh was maybe going for a fake there, and again, just a little bit of a drop. Kraft now for the Seagulls. Jensch with the nice read, and then looking for the end zone, but will fall short.
Oh, it got a bit exciting there for half a second. Going to need to apply the zone quickly. Almost fingertips on it, but a missed reception at the back end. Maybe just got enough bobble as that went over the hands of the central defender.
It was a good look from Kwan to McMorrow there. Kraft now, though, picking up for Seagulls. Finds a wide open Jensch on the other sideline. Cludius in the middle to Kraft. And that will be another goal from Masterclass. Jensch, I don't think was the intended, sorry, not Masterclass, Seagulls. I don't think Jensch was the intended receiver, but she certainly got her hands on that one.
Can we get a check this again to 13?
And that was actually a break for the Seagulls. So a much needed break.
And they're going to have to do it many, many more times in a row if they want to have a hope of winning this game. We have gone over regulation time. This time cap is now in effect, and it is a game to 13. So we know that Masterclass have an O-line. I think they have the one with some, like, sort of a little bit of like moving in and out here and there. We don't have a Sarah Melvin back on the field. We may yet see that. She might have stayed warm, who knows. But it's going to be a pretty hard task to shut them down for 5 points solid. I don't think Seagulls can't do it, but they definitely need to do something about the big discs. They're currently shooting against the wind. At the moment, it's just purple shirts under those high throws of Masterclass. Let's see what happens. I'm excited.
This is a very exciting game. It could be, I mean, Seagulls, I wouldn't put it past them to come back from this deficit. It still is possible, but Masterclass is 1 point away. They score this point. That's the game. McKee looking for a reset finds Myrna. McMorrow. Overarching pass. Kwan comes down with it. And a pick is called downfield. I can just feel my own adrenaline pumping at this possibility of Masterclass taking home this game with this point right now. Seagulls really need to be playing some tight defense to stop them from doing just that.
Absolutely, Jen Kwan there with the double glove look. Getting us back in way.
Great cash under pressure by Hosp. And a cheeky little IO backhand. Just Kwan could not hang on to it. And Seagulls will get a chance for another break.
Yeah, that was a difficult one to catch. I think possibly a bit of air bounce, but it bounces out of the hands of the intended target for the Seagulls. And a short field for Masterclass.
This could be it. Myrna coolly walking to the disc, letting her fellow teammates set up. McMorrow downfield, but it overthrown. Lots of bodies underneath that, and it will be knocked to the ground. However, there may have been a foul on the throw.
Yeah, uncontested immediately by Caston Miller there. You could see a lot of air bounce on that one as it popped up, so that might be the swipe on the back. To be fair, considering that was through a foul, that was still a pretty nice disc. But jump ball, Seagulls got the better of it, which is better. That is what they need to do. But right now, Fiona Myrna's looking pretty solid. And those early breaks are tasty.
Beautiful breakup line. Oh, and that wind, just gust of wind, and McKee could not grab onto that.
Clearly the elements want this game to go on for even longer, but unfortunately Seagulls can't get their hands around the frisbees.
Myrna again. Eyes for the end zone, finding Kwan for a beautiful swing. IO break. Again, lots of bodies underneath it. Myrna comes down with it, shoots for the end zone, and that's the score to Claire Pugh. There is some discussion, something, it might come back though.
Yeah, big old pack of bodies underneath that one when Myrna took the grab out of the sky off that interesting release there from Jen Kwan. Again, like it's that little bit of air bounce, I think, on the release really gets punished in these conditions. It's such a hard one to do. And the same comes out for the second throw to Pugh. Also, solid read. Looking over that shoulder and then sort of corkscrewing round. But that just goes to show the caliber of players we are getting to watch here at this World Masters Ultimate Championships.
The game advisors have stepped in. Myrna is holding the disc back in her hand, so
perhaps it's a case of Castor Miller wasn't able to apply a mark, maybe, because of the fact that she sort of had contact as Myrna came down. That might be perhaps the argument, but of course we don't know exactly, we just know what sort of call it is from hand signals.
the catch, I'm going to say, did look fairly clean. It did look like Myrna went straight up in the air and then came down with it. But again,
so we're getting some turnover hand signals, some flippy floppy hands. But a bit more chat.
It is so hard to tell from the sideline what exactly happened on the field. No one knows except for the players that are there, what you feel, what you see.
So we'll get another look at it. So there's the slightly air bouncy caught up in the wind pass. Myrna comes down. Oh, that's a big ouch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does look like she could have made some contact on the way down there, actually.
But the disc seems to be coming back into play with Myrna. Or actually, no, she's just tapping it for the turnover. There we go. So the stoppage is over. And the disc is back in the Seagulls' hands. So we won't know, we'll have to ask maybe later, but Seagulls managing to make the first pass. This is good. Swinging across nicely. Oh, but there's just the missed catch again. Klebs has put so much effort into this game. She must be knackered.
Oh, the unforced errors of these Seagulls will be, could potentially be their undoing right now. Pugh to Myrna. And a foot block from Caston Miller. We'll see another turnover and the Seagulls having another opportunity. That was a high foot.
You can tell I'm emotionally invested in this game because I'm making noises. I'm making noises. It's very exciting. So,
I love a good foot block.
Oh, absolutely. Big shot over the top.
Myrna coming back, picking off that disc from the Seagulls. Now just outside the end zone is Claire Pugh. And Kwan for the score. And that is the game for Masterclass. 14-8 over Seagulls. What a fantastic game that was to watch. Unbelievable.
A delightful result for Masterclass in this Women's Pool A in the Masters division. That's a nice and cleanly does it at the end. I really love the way the disc hung at Claire Pugh's shoulder, and then just a nice easy one to Jen Kwan, the gold medalists from 2019, finding their connections here at the club scene. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to impact the pool. I don't know if it can cause that much of an upset, but definitely if Masterclass can play like that in their final couple of matchups, we still do have a few games to play in this pool standing. So it's been a really exciting game, but in charge pretty much the whole time, you have to say, was Masterclass. They came out strong. There was a response from Seagulls, but that 4 points on the bounce, the first to take the half, it wasn't Galaxy point, and then to just power through, and the Seagulls just fell apart. But still all to play for here, because that's what pool play is all about. What have we got coming next on the stream, Troy?
You know what? We've got two fields of more games coming at you. We have a couple of more games. Next one, we've got Pumas versus Lowercase, and that would be Masters Women. And we also have the Heidi's versus BOD, and that's Germany and France. So we'll see you soon. And this is Copyright 2022, the World Flying Disc Federation. Find us on YouTube, join us for free, and we will see you later.
Alti.tv